Hello, this is Deanne Munoz, and welcome to Sacred Soul Talk, where we talk about spirituality.
That's what's up.
We talk about entrepreneurship.
Let's do
We
it.
talk about healing. We talk about healing your inner child. We talk about everything that is here to touch, move, and inspire you. I want to welcome today my guest, the Don Damiano. And the crowd goes wild.
You know what's crazy is like how I even got that name, Don Damiano.
Oh, tell us. I don't even know.
Yeah, so my cousin Yogi, when I was little, he used to always like tell me like, you're the Don. Like, so I grew up feeling like very...
And the Don, that's from
Well, just like Don
The Godfather?
Yeah.
Where's that from?
Typically like in the Latin community or Latin culture, Don is like someone that's well respected, right? You know, usually an older guy, but
Can I be the Don, or that's for men only?
Doña.
Oh, Doña.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my name to Doña Munoz.
That's right. But, you know, it's just a endearment of respect, you know, so in Italian, so being Mexican and Italian, you know, so on the Italian side, it's usually of someone that's a capo de tutti, that's like someone that's like the Godfather, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
And you have that you hold that divine masculine energy very, very strongly.
you know,
So like
you.
to hear you say that, that's like in a perfect, if I could describe you as like the divine masculine, it is that like that powerful, respected, knowledgeable, like everything about you is just integrity. Like man of my word, and you're serving others, that's where your respect comes, because you're serving and you're so powerful. You know, you're not taking, you're giving. Like, that's what the Godfather is there for, you know? Yeah. He's serving others, he's giving back.
That's true. And a lot of people don't realize that that's his role. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times, you know, in the Italian communities, they couldn't go to the police. So they went to the Godfather, and the mafia at the time was more like a police for businesses,
right?
And people that couldn't go to the police, so they went to the Godfather. Right.
Okay.
But you know, I received that what you shared with me, and it's beautiful, and it's like it's really nice to get those accolades from you, and that's how I show up. Right. I do appreciate that. I do have men in my life that have inspired me to be a man of my word, have my yeses be yes, my no's be no's. And so,
God, can we like get that, like, what's it called? Zoomed in? Because I don't know many men that their yeses are their yeses and their no's are their no's. Like, Jesus, like we need more men in that divine masculinity.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because a lot of women are taking on that role, right? Mm-hmm. Women are taking on and I'll just, you know, my ex-wife, very masculine and an amazing woman, but we clashed a lot because I wanted to be the king in the relationship.
Yeah.
And she be my queen, but unfortunately, a lot of times she would rise up to that, and it doesn't function when two people, especially a man, wants to have that role.
Yeah.
And a woman comes in and tries to take that role. So it's very
you can't have two yins or two yangs.
Most definitely need that balance.
You can't have two masculines at all. Like, yeah, I can, and we're not going to blame it that she's a Taurus. We can be a bit masculine.
But you know what I realized in retrospect though is that I could have earned the respect from her, so that way she gets into her femininity.
She could drop into it and feel safe.
Yes.
To let go.
So in retrospect, I see how I could have recreated that relationship. But I think it got to a point where I also didn't want to be in it anymore.
Right.
And so now it's given me an opportunity to be the king that I imagine myself to be. Right. And so I really do have this philosophy or this story that I created when I was a kid. I grew up poor in the city of Cudahy, grew up in apartments my whole life, and my mom never owned a car, so we took the bus everywhere.
Yeah.
But I used to play this game like I'm this peasant that one day is going to be king.
I love it.
Right? It's like this, so I played into this game that I created for myself as a kid.
Like, remember the movie Rags to Riches?
Yeah, of course.
Like
most
that.
definitely.
I think it was like a, on Saturdays, they used to work like a series for it. Right? Remember that?
Yeah. So like those, and that's the thing about being an entrepreneur, being that this podcast is about entrepreneurship and think like an entrepreneur, is like, what story have you been living into that's creating the success or whatever it is that you want in life, right? What's the, like, some people have lived into this victim story that they'll never be enough, and right? And then some people have used past traumas to really be the fuel to have them like say, you know what? Because of that, I'm going to show them, and they live into that story, and that's actually the fuel that helps them get to where they want to get. So we got to realize that life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And sometimes we think like, how in the heck did I find myself in this situation? But when you pull out and really look at it and zoom and really look at the playing field and where you're going, you can literally use that story or that event to really be the fuel to get you to where you really want to go. And so it's so important for us to really know who we are. And that's the story that I lived into as a kid that fueled me, that this peasant to be king.
Okay.
And also like how the mannerisms of how I want to be as a man, right? Because I believe that men should be men and women should be women.
Right.
In the sense that, the queen always protects her king, right? And so, and then the king's responsibility is to protect the mind of the woman, I believe, because if I could protect that mind and give that mind assurances and give that mind unconditional love, she's going to feel, protected. And in return, I'll get that respect that I desire and need as a man, as a king.
Shit. You're going to get a blowjob every day, all day long. Shit. What the heck? Screw the respect.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the dynamic. But again, we're not taught these things. It took years and years of reading and studying and, just instead of going out, just like reading and learning. Because why is that? It's that fuel. And I'll talk a little bit about how the entrepreneurship really rose in me, right? And how I got that fuel to like really, create. But those are the things about being human, being an entrepreneur, being a man and woman. We're not taught how to be any of that. Any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying, was your mom a single mom?
My mom was a single mom, raised 3 boys all on her own.
And was your dad in the home?
No, my dad came around once in a while. My mom would relax his hair because his hair was really wavy.
Kinky.
And he'd spend the night and I wouldn't see him for another month. That's the relationship I had with my dad growing up.
Okay, so he was absent.
Yeah.
And, one thing that we're finding is I'm going to say Latino community, because I know in the Latino community, a lot of us who come from poverty or even middle class, like our parents were from a generation where, I don't know if it's just because like the minority, because we're brown skinned, that, it's not like you see, Latinos own CEOs and running businesses. They're like gardeners and they're nurses and they're sewing and they're cooking, and that's who our family, our parents were, who are unknowledgeable to teach us about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Who don't, they're gonna say, "Hey, mijo, like, what? Why are you over here? Trying to, let's just say, like, I think you said the other day, like, why are you over here? Trying to, trying to become, an artist. Like, why are you painting?
Yeah.
Go to work." Feed your family, get a job, and go home, mijo.
Yeah.
Mija, like that's what we were taught.
Yeah.
They never said, oh, like you're an artist, you're really good at it. Follow it. That's, that's the limited thinking that we were given. And I want to say, even as minority, as brown skins, there was an opportunity for our people, for our parents, for our grandparents, because they didn't know that they could be more. They didn't have the option of like seeing other Latinos in these roles of CEOs, of owning things, of, you know, being on Forbes magazine, of being on Vogue magazine, of, you know, being on the computer magazines. Like none of these opportunities were around until, you know, in I think like the last, you know, couple generations.
Yeah, and all that's changing. Like, there's not too many people that I know that have 100,000 subscribers that, you know, YouTube sends them something like yourself. So you're changing that dynamic,
Yes,
right? And then there's two different cohorts. There's the cohort of the people, the Latinos and browns that were, or blacks that were born here. And then there's the immigrants.
Right.
Right? So there's two different cohorts. You got the immigrants that come here that typically become millionaires. And then you got the cohort of minorities that were born here. And when they were born here, those are the ones that are more likely not to become a millionaire.
Oh.
Because they get caught up in the system of going to school, getting a good job, going to college, getting a good job. And then the system takes care of their kids and it's replicated because the system was made for the business owner. It was made for the elite. Going to school and going to college and all of that stuff.
This is part of the system.
It was a babysitter system for the people that went to the factories to go work, right? So, but now things are changing because of the internet, because of the ability to go out there and create. So I think this younger generation, this new generation, is seeing the ability to be able to make money through Forex trading, Bitcoin, and all these, you know, whether it's Uber or whatever, these jobs out there they can go do on their own and then really do what they really like. I know a lot of people that do Uber or do Uber Eats and stuff like that. They use that to make the money part-time to go do what they really want, stand-up comedy or try to pursue be an actor or be an influencer or be a coach or whatever. So there's people going out there and trying to really be the entrepreneur.
Follow their dreams.
Follow their dreams.
Their calling, what makes them happy.
But again, nobody's really teaching them how to scale.
Right.
You know, how to grow their business or even have a business because a lot of people own a job. Right. So there's a great book out there called Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And
I love Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, he's the best.
Rich Man, Poor Man. If you guys haven't read that book.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Man, Poor Man. It's an incredible book. I've read it. They even have it for children.
Yeah.
My daughter, I bought it for her in high school. She read it.
Yep.
And it's super easy book to read.
Yeah.
He speaks to you like a normal person. It's not these big fancy, you know, quantum leaping words.
And he specifically did that for those books so that the majority of people can be able to read it, understand it, and apply it.
Yeah. And it's super, super simple.
Yeah.
I have a coach, Stacia Pierce, and she always says like knowledge is power. Like every season of your life, you should be learning something.
Most definitely.
And the power of reading books is how do you expect to get to the next season if you don't even you've never been there, you never experienced it.
Yeah.
So reading, which is knowledge.
And I'll take it a step further. Applied knowledge is power.
Oh, yeah. That's
right? Because you're reading, you get the knowledge. A lot of people, like, I can read how to, you know, do something, but if I never actually go out there and apply it, then then that knowledge is really just, it's static. It's not going anywhere.
Static. I like that word,
you know,
static.
And it gets to be moving, right? Like life is constantly in motion, right? Your dollar is gonna lose money if it's not invested. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and money. Money is a currency. It needs to constantly keep moving because if it just sits in the bank, it's losing money through inflation.
Right.
So if you have $1,000 in the bank and it stays in there for a full year, well, inflation goes up typically about 4% a year. So you lost 4% of that. You lost $4 in a year in that $100.
Really?
Because inflation goes up about 4% every year. So if you rent a house, when you get that next year, they're going to raise it up 4% for the cost of living.
Okay, are you guys listening to this? Because I want to make a point, not a point, but I'm going to make a point out of this, is because a lot of times, like I'm the entrepreneur who, like, every dollar I make, I reinvest. Like, I'm not a person who keeps like, let me save this big amount of money just in case of a rainy day and I lose everything. Like I'm a risk taker. Like every dollar that comes in, how can I reinvest it in mentorship, in programs, in my business? Like everything I make, it's like, how can I tenfold that 100? Like, I'm not a person like, and I know a lot of people around me are like, oh my God, Deanne, like you spend money, like it grows on trees. And in my head, it does. That's what I tell myself. Money grows on trees. Money is every
Hear that,
dollar
guys?
I
Money
spend
grows on
is
trees.
multiplied back to me 100 folds. Like that's the abundant mindset that I operate from. And I magnetize situations. I magnetize the money because I believe when I invest it,
Thank you
it's
for the
coming back
badge,
100 folds.
Dean,
So
Watts.
entrepreneurship,
You
the
guys are the best.
mindset of entrepreneurs,
tuning
like
in.
that's how I view anything. Like this home, my podcast studio, the equipment, everything to me is like I want top of the line. I'm gonna pay it, and it's always been multiplied. And it's just the way I've operated from a very young age at 21. And I don't know if even if that comes from dancing, because money came easy. So I'd just be like, oh, I could make this money next week. Or, I could make this money up this weekend. And it was always like, it always came to me. There wasn't an issue. That there was never been this, okay. And there's been times where I've lost it all. I'm like, okay, no big deal. I can get it all back. And I want to say like, that's one of the key things as an entrepreneur is I'm a risk taker.
I learned on the fly.
I'm a risk
it's
taker.
But you know what? There's
taking me maybe
knowing
4
that
years
you're
now.
a risk taker,
many mistakes.
there's a personality test called the DISC test.
Okay.
Right?
The DISC test, is that
more successes.
like the 5 love languages test?
Kind of. Right. And people should know their DISC assessment. So there's a D for driver, and you're a driver. You're a boss, right? Like when you talk to Deanne, like get right to the point. Like when it's about business.
yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah.
Get right to the point, because if you tell a long story, yeah, right. So
I'm counting like the tiles on the ceiling thinking, when is this person going to shut up?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a different personality. So you got a driver,
Okay.
like that's you. Then you got an influential person, which is me, right? Like very influential in the sense that I'm the life of a party. Like I'll go
Yes.
in, make fun, have fun with everybody. So that's the I, influential. Then you got the S, who's the supporter, and then you got the C, who's the analytical person, right? So you got these different type of personalities, and for some people, to go out there and be Deanne, right? They can't do that. So they're gonna be like, oh no, I can't do what she's doing. So everybody got to get in where they fit in, and there's a business opportunity for every. For the analytical person, of course.
Right, yeah.
Right? Imagine if you had an analytical person on your team really looking at the metrics and the numbers of your podcast, of everything that you do.
If you are a analytical, please hit me up because I need you in my life.
Exactly, because what you don't measure, if you don't measure, it doesn't grow.
Right.
So you got to be able to measure the metrics of your business, right? How many people are looking at the podcast? How do you follow up with them? How do you upsell? All this stuff, that's the part of being in business and scaling a business. The reason why a lot of Latinos and blacks and minorities don't really scale, I went to up at Stanford every year in January, there's this Latino initiative where they talk about how to scale businesses for Latinos. A lot of Latino businesses don't get past the $10 million mark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't hit that $100 million mark like Caucasians.
Okay.
And the reason is because it's how they do
Is
their...
Caucasians the right way to say that? I just say white people.
Yeah. White people, Caucasians,
know.
you know. Yeah.
I wasn't sure what's politically right.
Our name is not Jennifer Lopez.
So like Caucasians tend to do their taxes correctly, where a lot of Latino businesses or black businesses, we write a lot of stuff off. And so it doesn't show us making too much money. And then when we try to go raise capital to take our business to the next level, we can't, or we don't, because we don't qualify. So one of the things that is so important about being in business is to really understand business. So you need people, you need that D in your team. which is the driver, which is
Right.
you.
Right.
You need the influential people to go out there and sell, right? Upsell, do all this stuff, get people excited about
Right.
what the cause is. You need the supporters. You need the data entry people to do that. That's important.
Yeah.
You know, the people to take on the calls, the customer service and all of that. And you need that analytical person to look at the metrics and share with you the data, how to get ahead.
Right.
Because the data gives you a roadmap.
Right.
And if you don't have that roadmap, you could just be stuck in one area. Like, why am I not growing? It's because you don't have all the components, all the right people on the bus.
Right.
If you got too many drivers on the company, you're gonna have bickering and fighting because everybody wants to be the captain. They want to be the leader.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
If you got too many influential people, it's a big party. Nobody's gonna work. If you got too many people that are supporters, everybody's gonna be hugging each other like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Nothing's gonna get done.
Yeah.
You need all of them. But here's the thing about the DISC assessment. When you know what you are, and if you go backwards, now I could imagine that if you get upset and then you get analytical and short, like telling people exactly what it is, you're gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings. Because you go backwards on the wheel. Now I'm influential, but when I become a driver, I'm a dick. I'm an asshole. I'm a jerk. Because I went from this really cool, fun guy, and all of a sudden I snapped, and now I'm like this.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you go backwards on the wheel, it's not a good thing. So you got to look at the disc wheel and how it could support you. So if you're an entrepreneur out there, Tony Robbins has a free DISC assessment. Go to TonyRobbins.com, look under the DISC assessment, and find out your personality type. Very important. And then talking about the 5 love languages.
Yeah.
Also very important because you want to treat your customer like that.
Right. Would that be considered NLP?
Well, the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, really has to do with words.
Okay.
But there is a lot of there is a lot of body movement in there. Like Tony Robbins, when he gets it creates a state change when you move, right? Yeah. So if you're a salesperson out there, you're an entrepreneur, you should be walking and talking. You can be on the treadmill, stand up, have one of those desks that go up, right? Because your physiology when you're selling is a lot different when you're in motion and when you're standing. And if you're a salesperson, have a mirror in front of you so you feel like you're talking to somebody. You could see your facial expressions. So if you're a salesperson on the phone, you should be using all of your mouth because you pronunciate things even better when you use your full mouth. And then again, the phone is a toy. A lot of people don't realize that the phone is a toy, but they think it's 1,000-pound weight. Right. So all of this plays into NLP, transformational work, just constantly studying, bettering yourself, getting ahead, because all of that is an investment into you, for your children, for your spouse, for your family, for your legacy. So when you really start to look at business and understand why did you get into business? What was the purpose? What's the vision? Because when you go to work and it doesn't feel like work and it feels like fun, that's because you created a flow. And when you're in that flow state, everything just goes by quick and fast, and the abundance comes to you. So when I see Deanne, I see someone that's in a flow state. I see someone that's in the abundance, that's in the like the river, fast moving river, right? Of life. Where it's adventurous, like a whitewater rapids, but it's moving. It's not one of these rivers where it's stagnant.
Oh, no.
And there's mosquitoes everywhere.
We're in the boat.
Right? But that water is healthier, the water that's moving. Remember I was saying earlier, like life is money's a currency, it needs to keep moving. Things need to keep moving. And we're traveling at what? Right now, as we sit here, I think we're going 76,000 miles an hour right now. That's how fast the earth is moving.
Wow.
The earth is in motion.
And we can't feel it.
You can't feel it.
No.
But we're moving like, I think it's some crazy number, 76,000 miles per hour.
With saying that, I want to target, let's get into that little area. Because with that, I feel everything is, so like you're saying, the whole motion thing, like behind, like physical motion is there, but there has to be the inner belief system. Like I feel like there can be times in people's businesses where it's stagnant, or it could be slow, or there's moments where, there's going to be a step back before something new is coming. And, maybe we can get into, well, I want to, not maybe, if we can get into that, the core belief systems, like what is your core belief system, whether you're moving in business or you're at a standstill? What is your belief system? What energy are you holding within during whether you're moving or whether you're not moving?
It's really simple. It comes down to like one foundational pillar, right? And that one foundational pillar is integrity. Okay? Because integrity, now I'm not talking about integrity of doing the right thing, right?
Okay.
I'm talking more like so there's the moral type of integrity, like doing the right thing.
Right.
And then there's structural integrity. Like this house has integrity because it could withstand an earthquake, the rain, the snow. It has integrity, right? Like if I said, D, here's a 1962 or, car and the tires are kind of flat. It has cobwebs everywhere. And you look at it, it's all rusty. And I say, hey, I need you to go to New York in this car. You're probably going to say, oh, hell no. Why? Because the car has no integrity.
Right.
You're looking at it, it looks all beat up and busted.
Right.
But if I gave you a brand new Honda Civic right off right from the dealer with 0 miles, I say, hey, I need you to go to New York. You're
out the
gone.
door.
Right? Because
Right.
the car has integrity. So your life, does it have integrity? And you gotta, like, when things are not working in our lives, when things are not working in my life, I say, where did I not keep my word? To myself or to someone else, to a business partner? Because when we don't keep our word, that's when things start to break down, right? But when you keep your word to yourself, to other people, it creates another level of what's called workability. So integrity creates workability,
Thank you,
which gives
everyone
you
that's tuned
the
in right now.
opportunity to live a peak performance life.
Thank you for all the love and the
So there's
badges.
people that experience a peak performance life, but they don't live there. It's because they made it through the weeds and somehow got this peak performance, but they
Right.
don't constantly live
Okay,
there.
I want to hear yours. I want to hear you. The question was, what is your belief system whether things are going really good in business or whether they're not? Because you are an entrepreneur and you're always steady. So to the people that are watching this, what is your core, what is your belief system within? Because you're holding an energetic frequency, whether things are on the outside working or not, you still have this core belief system.
Yeah.
That is your integrity. What is those belief systems for you?
Yeah.
I want to hear those. So I want people to help support them with, being an entrepreneur means whether times are going good, or they're just not moving at the moment, or whether there's a breakdown. An entrepreneur holds a predominant thoughts and belief system at their core, creating their integrity. That no matter what's going on, their word is their word and their belief system is their belief system. So what is your core belief system as an entrepreneur that you know and you believe that what you're doing is your business, no matter what business it's in? What is your core belief for yourself as an entrepreneur that you operate from?
Servant leader, right? So my core belief is that if I help enough people get what they want, I'll get what I want, right?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Zig Ziglar, by the way. I can't take
Zig Ziglar.
can't take that one right. That's Zig Ziglar right there. You help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So my business is financial services and real estate.
Right.
Right. Because I grew up in apartments my whole life, never lived in a house. And I would bring dogs home all the time. And my mom would say, Mijo, you got to get the dog out here. We're on Section 8, can't have the dogs. So I know that you can create wealth through real estate because I've done it.
Right.
Right. So my core belief is supporting people to own real estate, to own homes, to own apartment complexes, to own commercial real estate. That right there sets a great foundation. So my core belief is help people get what they want.
Okay.
Right. Be a servant leader. And then as a coach, right? My core belief is unfortunately, a lot of us grew up with trauma, and I want to love on people. And I want to love on people in a way that they're inspired to love themselves and pay it forward by loving other people. So I don't know, this sounds cheesy, but it's really to love on others like Jesus taught me to love.
Let's remove the word cheesy. Let's pray. That's powerful.
Thank you.
That's powerful.
Thank you.
Love is powerful, you guys. To be a man, especially in this world, and to have done so much inner healing and so much vulnerability for a man to want to just love, that is like a world leader. Like that's the mindset of a world leader. When you hear guys that are like, or women that are like, oh no, like fuck the world, and you know, the world's gonna screw you over. Don't help out anybody. Like it's about me, 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 like the whole world. I'm just thinking like, wow, like your business isn't gonna go very far.
Yeah.
Like you're not serving nobody.
Exactly.
And I want to honor you for the fact that like, it makes me so sad when men show any kind of vulnerability and then they kind of retract it with a little like insult. Like, this is cheesy. It's fucking powerful.
Yeah.
You own it and you say, I'm fucking powerful because I'm here to love.
That's what's up.
That ain't fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills right now as we speak. That spirit letting me know. That's powerful. You're a man, a very masculine, divine, in your divinity, you're in your divine masculine. And you're here to love. Like, that is his belief system. Love attracts more love. Abundance comes from love.
Most
not
definitely.
from scarcity, not from, it's about me, not from, you're not operating from trauma. Most of the world in entrepreneurship, you're going to find people that can't hold themselves, whether their business is low, doing great, or it's thriving. Somebody who's operating from a selfishness, that's me, take. Their business is just, there's no integrity. Their business are not sustainable.
Most definitely.
Like, you hear about people like who hit the millions and billions, but they're tyrants. They were dishonest. Do they keep it? No, they don't. So to be a man and to say it like, yeah, it's powerful. I know how to fucking love. Shit. I don't know many men that can say that. That's power. So when we're talking about mindset, he's here to serve. That's what world leaders do. That's what anointed ones do. Those are people who are chosen as the ones to come in as light workers, as healers. And that's guaranteed that Spirit's going to bless you, me, 100 folds, that we're here thinking about the world. How can we impact it and influence it?
You know that, and as a man, that is our responsibility to heal. You know, we get to heal our wives' minds. We get to heal our children and protect, right?
Yes.
So healing is a responsibility of a man, right?
Yeah, I don't want to clap in here and it's like,
and you know, it's I really believe that my mom did a really good job raising a man, and
an incredible job. We love Don the Damiano.
and you know, it's like a lot of women have been raising men, but that's unfortunate though. You know, my mom did a great job, but it's unfortunate that a woman raised a man. The men get to raise their children and get to protect the mind of their wife and really love unconditionally. I read a great book. It's called Love and Respect. And men get to love unconditionally their wives. And women get to unconditionally respect their husbands.
Right.
Right? Because that's what creates the dynamic, because men need that and women need that. And so bringing that all, you know, back to entrepreneurship is that, you know, our responsibility as men will always be to hunt and will always be to lead. Right? And so, you know, men do need to step back up, and there's a lot of great men out there that are doing that. There's Ed Milet. Ed Milet does a great
I'm
job.
following him.
Yeah, great job. There's a lot of great men that are showing men how to be men all over again, and there gets to be women that shows women, how to also drop into their femininity, because there's a lot of women right now that are, because they're running businesses, because they're taking care of kids, and because they have to do it.
Right.
So
because men aren't. Literally. We're in a time where men are no longer seeking to be head of the household anymore, to hunt, to protect, to take care. They're like, let me just sit back and let the woman do it. Like, that's... And then they're wondering, well, why is this girl so in her masculine? Bro, I am, when I'm with my girlfriends, I open the door at all times. I pay the bills. Like, I make sure everybody walks in front of me. I'm a woman. So for a man to do that is not very hard.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at
but
all.
men just aren't brought up that way. They're
Well, that's changing, because I do know a lot of men that are stepping up, that do step up.
Yes.
And so, just kind of bringing this back, the whole, just living. Let's talk about living for a second. Human beings. It has to go back to understand what it is to be a human, first of all, right? We're all miracles. Just imagine there's 5 million sperm that are going after that one egg, and you won.
I did.
Like, Dan, you won. You're a champion, right? We're all champions because
Yes.
we all won. We all won the race. Out of 5 million possibilities, getting to that one egg, like, I made it, you made it, we all made it. Now when that sperm fertilizes that egg, it starts to duplicate. And I think it's like in 8 weeks, a heart starts beating, right? And then, 9 months later, you're born. Like, that in itself is a whole miracle. Like, the chances of you being here, that's crazy.
Right.
And now you're here. So we're born, but we're not really taught how to be a human. Like, the child just knows how to cry and laugh. That's it. Those are its first 2 languages, crying and laughing. And just imagine what it takes for a baby to learn how to cry, how to laugh, how to talk, how to walk. That is so, like, crazy. And then what happens is the brain starts recording things, though. Just imagine, like, there's this baby sitting on the floor, and all of a sudden this spider starts crawling up the baby's arm. The baby doesn't have no experience of the spider, so it just thinks it's tickles, right?
Cute.
Oh, whatever.
I have a friend, Mommy.
Yeah. But mom comes out from making the bottle, sees the spider, screams, yells, runs over, slaps the spider off. The kid goes crazy, doesn't know why it happened, but the brain recorded it all, right? So now all of a sudden, the kid's like in preschool, they bring out the tarantula, and he goes nuts. I don't know why little Johnny went nuts when we brought out the tarantula today. All the other kids were excited to have it walk over their hands.
Yeah.
But the experience that the brain recorded of that spider crawling up his arm, mom hitting it, all of that, now the brain recorded that event. And now that event has a trauma in the future. So we gotta look at our lives, and sometimes wondering why our business isn't going the way it should is because there's these past traumas that come up. We hit a wall in our business and we don't know why we can't get ahead, but it might be a past trauma, a fear,
Right.
something that's holding.
It's 100%. That's why, I was asking like, what is your core belief system? Because I feel that a lot of people are limited thinking. They operate from scarcity, lack.
Well, I got a question for you.
Yes.
How did you learn this way of living or thinking? Like, what was the event that happened in Deanne's life where he said, you know what? This has to change. Or have you always thought this way since you were little?
That's a good question. I grew up with my father, who was an entrepreneur.
Okay, got it.
And my dad, he was a hustler. Like, he would, meet different attorneys and in different cities far away, and be like, hey, I want to open up an attorney office here in El Monte. Do you want to, all I need is you to come sign the paperwork and I'll do everything else. That, and then he'd go open medical clinics. Like my dad was a hustler, like everything and anything. Like he was just like, he'd go make the business.
That's what's up.
So I just always knew my dad had 100 different businesses. We were always moving. Like it was always something different every year. So that's all I knew. So to me, I just knew like, you just go and you do it.
Yeah.
Period. That's just what I always saw.
Yeah.
And, my dad wasn't an alcoholic, so he'd lose his job quite often, and then we'd leave, we'd uproot, we'd move somewhere else, he'd find something new, and within my dad was like, my dad could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
Like he really could come in, and he was like he would go door to door to get cases for like have you been in personal injury? Like my dad was just a person who was just like go do. That's all I ever knew. Then I got married to a hustler as well. He was a jack of all trades. It might have been illegal stuff, but no matter what, there was always something new.
Yeah.
He was always hustling. Like, I got to go do this. I got to do that. Like, and I just saw money come easily all the time.
Yeah.
Money just always came easily. Like, just do something, figure something out. Until you make money. Like, that's what I always saw. Now, what the defining moment for me was, which I just spoke about this on another podcast, is I was a stay-at-home mom at 18 to like 21.
Yeah.
And I was in a very abusive relationships, and all the many a times I tried to leave, I couldn't because I had no job skills. I didn't have a car. I didn't have $1 to my name.
Wow.
And he would hold that over me like, well, where are you going to go with what money?
Yeah, and that happens to a lot of women. A lot of women are stuck.
Yeah. So
They're
I did.
stuck.
So around 21, we'd had another big fight, and he cheated on me with like the same person that I had so much past trauma with, and I literally had just had enough at that moment, and I was like, I don't care if I live on the streets, like I'm getting up and leaving. And I ended up going, and then all the people who were cheating on me were all strippers. So I went to the strip club where they were all working at, and I went that night, and mind you, I'd never drank ever in my life. I walked in at 21 years old and told the bartender, first I told the manager I'm auditioning. Second, I was like, wait, not the waiter, the bartender. I was like, dear bartender, I need a drink, but make it really, really sweet because I don't drink and I need to go audition right now on stage. And he was like, it's your first time? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and I don't drink. He's like, and you don't drink? He's like, all right. So I think he made me like a Mai Tai or a something super sweet. I think like 3 sips, and I was like, oh, yeah. But I got on stage, and mind you, like I've always been a very sensual person, always very sensual. Like I love moving sensual. Like it's just in me. It's like in my DNA, like this, like Aztec dancing. Like I've had that forever. So getting on stage and being slow and sensual. And I remember we put on Black Magic Woman by Santana.
There you go.
And back then in the strip clubs, we danced to slow romantic music. And there was only one girl on stage at a time. And I remember being up there and me like looking the guys in the eyes and being like, shh, like making eye contact with all of them. And everybody was just like, wow. Like I went up there, and I remember the money was being thrown. I was looking at the whole stage was full dollars. And I was like, that's all mine. That's all my money. I was like, I could get an apartment. I could get a car. Like I just saw freedom.
Wow.
Like freedom. Like I remember just like, even when I got off the stage, like we had to get a big black bag. And I remember just crying. Like I have freedom. Like I can leave. Like I can be me now. And from that moment on, I just saw money as freedom. It was freedom to me. Like I can do anything with this.
And you know what? It's like, and people have this story about money, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evil, right? So we got to really take a good look at what is our relationship with money, right? And so I see money as options. Money allows me options. Do I want the good bread or do I want the $5 bread?
Right.
Right.
100%.
Do I want, do I want the $2.99 gallon of milk, or do I want the $7 gallon of milk? Right.
And, speaking about that, when we're going to get into this. One of my biggest things to this day is what makes me feel rich is the fact that I remember when I started dancing, the day I was able to go into the market and buy anything I wanted.
Oh man,
I
tell
could
me
fill
about
up
that.
the whole entire basket.
No, check the
Like I could get 10
I get-
cereals,
yeah.
10 ice creams, 10 juices, and I didn't have to look at the prices.
Yeah,
That to me is rich. That to me is
Yeah.
I'm rich when I didn't have to be like on a little yellow post-it where I can buy bread,
Yeah.
eggs, and milk.
Yeah.
So to me, that's that first day I was able to go into the market and do that. Like I remember just like tears in my eyes. Like I don't even have to look at the bill. I can afford 10 of these baskets.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we all get to, like I keep saying that we are not taught how to live or be a human being. And so I learned that there was these events that happened in my life. They're called strong suits. And one typically happens when you're a kid, or like a toddler. One happens when you're like in junior high. One happens when you're in high school, right? So the first thing that happened was my dad wasn't around.
Right.
And I told myself as a kid, I'm still valuable. I'm still worth it. And I had enough love from my mom that it's okay that my dad wasn't around. The second thing that happened was my mom made $450 every 2 weeks. Our rent was $450. That meant there was only $450
To live
for
for 30 days.
yes. And you know what? I told my mom the other day, I was like, Mom, I don't know how you did it. She goes,
Oh, that gave me like,
yeah. Mind you,
almost couldn't breathe.
she was a CNA nurse getting minimum wage. And so my mom unfortunately didn't have, like, I wanted the nice shoes. I wanted the British Knights. I wanted the Diodoras. I wanted the nice kicks. So I would have to go out there and hustle on my own. So when I was 8 years old, I started working. I learned how to go to the gas station and clean windows for money, do whatever it
Yes,
took.
yeah,
Sell
I
candy
love
out of my
it.
backpack,
Yeah.
And so all of those events, all of I had a point where I was to say to my mom,
about people's relationship with money.
the relationship
And
with
then
money.
you say that
Oh
there
yeah.
was-
So there's three things. So
Yeah.
the first thing was that my dad wasn't around. That was a strong suit that I told myself that I'm valuable. The second thing
valuable.
we were broke, and I told myself I never want to be poor again, because my friend Curtis and we used to combine our refrigerators to make a meal. So that second event was like, I never wanted to be poor.
Right.
Because I had a friend named Chad Corbett. I never seen a pantry so full of snacks. I was like, oh my God, look at
You're
this pantry.
rich.
You're rich.
I remember in school, I don't even know her name, but I remember I used to go to, because my parents both work, so I was never picked up till 6 o'clock from like the after school, whatever's going on. And I had a girlfriend who every day after school we would go there to her house, and I sit there and wait with till my mom or dad came, and her whole entire pantry had food.
Yeah.
And I used to always be like, wow, you're rich. I used to think that you're rich.
You're rich.
Yeah.
And I told myself, and when I saw Chad Corbett, I don't even know the guy, but I remember his name, right? I know Chad Corbett had the pantry food, and I told myself, I want to live like that. And then the third thing that happened when I was in high school, I broke out with acne really bad. And I broke out 11th grade. I broke out with acne really bad. And the rejection that I got from my family, my cousins, girls, I was like, you know what? I got to a point where it's like, you know what? Fuck rejection. I'll figure out a way. But those three strong suits helped me become the businessman that I am. Because
Yes.
I'm worth it. I don't ever want to be broke.
Yes.
And fuck rejection.
Yes.
Right? So those strong suits really supported me to get ahead in life, right?
So that is his core belief system to his entrepreneurship.
There it is, right
That's
there.
exactly what I was asking for.
Okay, strong suits.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm worth it. I don't ever want to be broke again. And you know what? Fuck rejection. I'll figure out how to make it happen. Right? So, that's what's up. That's what's up.
It gets a soundboard tap.
So it is important for us to learn, to study, to have a mentor, to have a coach, to have someone that we can mirror and get ahead in life. Like each generation should be better than the one it preceded, right? But what's the problem is that, you know what? Unfortunately, we're not raising our children with experiences where they can learn and grow. We're constantly telling kids, no, you can't do that. Shut up. you're dumb. We're brainwashing our kids to not get ahead. Someone told me this yesterday. I don't know how true it is, but there might be some value to it. So TikTok is owned by China, right? And they literally are making Americans flood themselves with like staying not paying attention to shit.
Yeah.
While they're making sure
And
that
have you been on TikTok?
no, I don't have not at all.
Okay, you guys, TikTok is crack. So I'm a Instagram girl, but I recently have been on TikTok, and I can't like going on the explore page. Every single TikTok is captivating. Oh, it's Coach Diane Munoz, fully spelled out. Thank you. Yeah, TikTok, Coach Diane Munoz, fully spelled out. It's literally like every single thing on the explore page. The minute you get to you just get one reel, one TikTok, that's it. You're engaged. They only show the funniest shit that you're like literally like, oh my God, that was good. I got to send it to somebody. And then the next one comes up and you're like, that one was even better. And then the next one comes up. Like Instagram just shows you what your friends post. And our friends aren't very funny. But TikTok's explore page, it's crack. It's like drinking Coca-Cola. Like you can't just have one sip of Coca-Cola. You're you need to get all that carbonation deep inside me, and I need to shiver with it. That's the feeling TikTok gives you. So you're correct. They perfectly tailored it.
Yeah.
That once you get on there, you are so. And people love to laugh. Who doesn't love to laugh? Out of a daily life of like an entrepreneur, I gotta do this. When you go on there, you're laughing. You're like, oh, this feels nice. But then it'll be 2 hours later.
Yeah.
2 hours later.
You know, I'm an audiobook guy. You know, I'm just constantly listening to audiobooks. I definitely want to grow and learn. I got really big goals for myself, so I really don't put too much emphasis on social media. Although I know it's a great marketing tool, and I teach people to use social media because it's important, and I do use it for that purpose. But I don't spend too much time on social media.
Stuck in there.
I get on and get off.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're dead. That's discipline, guys. Well, that's discipline. Talk about it. And then I have ADHD, so like the whole audio thing, I'd have to replay it. I've tried. I've tried
I have
recently.
to listen to a book, sit down, and take notes.
Oh yeah, no, because if I have it just listening, I will literally replay the same 5 minutes over.
So will I.
For 3 hours, and then I'll get frustrated and turn it off and be like, "What's the point? I didn't hear one thing he said," and I just turn it off.
I do that too. You know, I'll keep on replaying something, turn it off, then reflect on it, and just like you said, that I will sometimes just turn it off because I got stuck on this one section for so long. No, I get that too. You know, but here's the thing: is like, as long as you're creating progress and you're moving forward, that creates happiness, right? So
100%.
progress equals happiness, and if you could look into your future and get excited about your future, that creates happiness as well.
Yes.
So we got to get to a point where we're excited about the future. We have a business model or something that generates money, so that way we can feel good about the future también, right?
Yeah.
So it's creating a future that feels good, we're excited about, and it comes back to having resources. Money, for me, is resources.
It is. But hold that thought. I got to go Tinkles. And we usually start with prayer, sound bowling, and some manifestation, but we didn't. So I'm going to have you do that while I'm going Tinkles. So what we're going to do is...
Jen's gave a good comment while you go. She said, music, TV, other than unconscious parents, family, friends, it's all programming / conditioning. It's crazy.
Yes, 100%.
It dummies us down, a form of programming.
Okay, so we have our prayer box. So every week now, I have a little ceremony that I like people do before we start. But you were like, let's get it.
We got right into it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so we're gonna slow it down because I'm gonna go to the bathroom. We're gonna slow down, drop into our body, and connect with spirit. Okay, so this is a prayer box that I had bought, and I kept it over at 7-Eleven Media Group. So what I'm gonna have you do is, I want you to write down the first thing that comes to your heart or mind that you want to manifest right now. Okay. So you're going to write this down for me. Meanwhile, I go to the bathroom. Here we go. Okay. And then what I'm going to have you do is you're going to place it under the white candle, and then you're going to light your candle.
Okay.
So the white light is going to manifest it into the universe. So this is Sacred Soul Talk where
this prayer is just for me.
it's just yours. It's for
Okay.
what you want.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so this is all about you. This whole altar. It's a prayer altar, a manifestation altar. So I want you to put down what you want, and you're going to put it under there. And we're going to manifest and pray for it. And then we're also going to pray for everyone else that has their own prayer request. So for now, go ahead.
You know what's so dope about this? As you go tinkle, I'll talk.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah.
But what's really dope about this is
Can we get a little closer?
yeah. So what's really dope about this process, because it's a process, right? Is one, I have to think, which is gonna create an emotion, right? I'm gonna take the action and write my thoughts into words, right? And then with this, I'm gonna create a feeling around it, right? And then give this up over here to this altar, right? And then the action of lighting the candle, of taking the action of writing, taking the action. So it's one thing to just think it,
Correct.
but it's another thing to take
Pen
the
and
action,
paper.
put it to pen and paper, take it out of the mind, put it in here, put the action. So that goes back to what you were saying earlier about knowledge is power, but it's the applied knowledge. It's the action. So you go do that, and I'm going to do
Definitely.
this.
Okay, guys. So he's going to write down his manifestation, and I'll be right back.
So are you guys getting some good stuff so far? Super excited about this, to be with Deanne here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share, and I'm going to write my prayer. So, but I want to invite you to do the same thing. Like, go out and find a piece of paper right now. And I want you to create and manifest your prayer, what it is that you want to miraculously happen for you and your life. So as I do this, I invite you to do the same thing. Take the action, find a piece of paper, whatever you're thinking that you want to manifest and create in your life, put it down to a paper right now. Take the action, get it out of your mind and write it. So I'm going to go ahead and write mine right now. And I'm actually writing the first thing that's come to my mind. Well, I'm super excited about my prayer here. And I'm going to put my prayer over here near the altar.
Okay. So
I invited our audience to do the same.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So what I do, you guys, is every week on my stories, I get a
request, you're
candle
more than welcome
and I
to
burn
say
it, and
any
I always record a story, like a whole 60-second story. And then at the bottom, I always say, in the comment section, you can do people to leave you comments. I say, if you have a prayer request, enter it into the box. So anytime you've entered those prayers into the box, it's here in the altar. There's the intentions behind it. So every time, yes. So every time you see me post it on my stories, make sure you guys drop your prayer in there, because I include that in my everyday life. And where two or more, or two, three or more are gathered, Spirit will be there. That's if you're spiritual or you're religious. If you're religious, God will be there. And if you're neither of those, you are a facts person and you're science. Quantum physics says where two or three people are at a high vibrational frequency, that frequency intensifies 100 folds. So that's science.
On the science side too, check this out. So we have a part of our brain called the reticular activating system.
Reticular activating system here.
Right?
That gets a sound bolting. That's a big word.
Well, check this out. So just imagine, have you ever bought a brand new car?
Yes, I just got one last year for my birthday. And my birthday's coming up again.
That's what's up. I know, right
So
around the corner,
fast.
man.
That's
Just like that. Pat,
crazy.
pat, pat, pat.
Yeah, I'm going to be 47.
That's crazy. I just turned 45.
Isn't that so crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. But check this out. Like when you
Okay.
bought that car, did you start to see that car everywhere?
Yes.
Why is
Wait,
that?
I never actually even knew that Porsche had an SUV. Never knew that. And I always said I'm never going to get a Porsche because I'm claustrophobic. I can't be in anything small. And when I ever seen Porsches, I'm like, oh my God, they're so small and cramped. I like things big and luxurious.
Yeah.
And we were looking at SUVs, but obviously I want a sexy SUV.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what is this? They're like a Porsche. And I was like, because in the front it looks really fucking sexy. And I was
Yeah.
like, a Porsche? And I got in and I was like, I didn't even know they made an SUV. It was so sleek, sexy. I was just like, I was like so turned on, and I was like, sold. I'll take it. And that was it. Now I see Porsche Cayennes everywhere.
Well, exactly. So before, they were always there.
Yeah, I never seen them.
But you told your brain that it was important. So the brain, the reticular activating system, what it does is,
Reticular activating system.
so what that part of the brain does, it filters out everything and it tells you what's important. So when you pray and you put that intensity of that prayer and you're thinking it and you're feeling it.
Or anchoring it in.
Yes. And it's you're telling your reticular activating system that this is important.
Reticular activating system.
And all of a sudden it starts showing it to you.
Reticular activating system.
You want more bills? Talk about bills. Give it feeling. You're going to see more bills. You want more money? Talk about money. Feel good about the money. You're going to see new opportunities.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're a science person,
yes.
prayer is talking to your reticular activating system and put a lot of feeling behind it. And all of a
Yes.
sudden you're going to start seeing it everywhere.
It's 100% true. And I always like to, when I say prayer, you guys, I manifestation, prayer, intention to me is all the same thing. So people could say, I put a goal or this is what I'm manifesting. I I'm just such a
You like pretty words.
spiritual, I'm just such a spirit. Like everything I do is very soft. Everything I do, it's like a vision that I get. So I like to call mine the process of prayer, of a ceremony, manifesting. They're all the same exact intention. There's nothing about God or Jesus or anything it's simply the same word. So that's why I always be like, if you're science, I got you.
Yeah.
I could prove you science. I could prove you with God, and I could prove spirituality.
Yeah.
So I just like the word prayer because prayer to me is
divine.
Because in my, let's just say in my everyday life, I'm always in a masculine, go, do, mental. And as a feminine, the divine feminine operates from her heart.
Mm-hmm.
So now everything I do now, I slow down.
Nice.
So I'm not go, do is a masculine energy.
Yes.
So I'm constantly slowing down, stopping, breathing, getting present with my breath, present with spirit, present with visions, present with what God wants me to say. And it's not about me. And then I drop into a place of serving. How can I serve? And then I get visions of things I want to manifest in my life so that I can be of service in a more grander way. And money is a way for me to create products and events and podcasts and seminars to be of service. So that's where my manifestation and my prayers and the abundance comes in, because I know that, I'm chosen. I know that you're chosen to serve. And spirit, the universe, God, our ancestors, everyone who's ever walked behind us, we are the ones in our family lineage to break all the generational curses that have happened from people before us, behind us.
Most definitely.
Like we're going to be the first millionaires in our families. Like these are generational curses that we're breaking. Like we're paving new paths. And for me, I it's really slowing down and connecting. And it's same thing with men who are always go, go, go. There has to also be the balance of, you said, the love, the showing up.
You just balanced me right now. I realize, and this is why it's so important to have a masculine and feminine, because I just realized right now that you gave me permission to slow down right now. And that was great, because sometimes as a man, you can be go, go, go.
Oh, 100%.
I have a good friend in Mexico. I was visiting down there in Guadalajara, and we were driving to the airport, and we got cut off. And I immediately, I was thinking like, okay, this person cut me off. Did I cut them off? Or what happened that they just went into because we were pulled into a gas station, and they pulled right into where I was going to pull into.
Right.
So my initial man was like, did that guy just cut us off and just take our spot? Right. And so I didn't say anything, but I must have made a gesture. And then she goes, Damiano, look at me. And when I looked at her, I calmed down. And I hadn't had anybody calm me down that fast ever. And I was like, whoa, that was dope. I needed that. Had there been another guy there?
Oh,
yeah, it's too much,
testosterone.
masculine energy right there. Like, hey, what happened? But also, as a coach, I understand there's feedback, and I understand that, it's like maybe this guy's in a hurry, maybe someone's at the hospital, so like maybe justify it a little bit, because just like, hey, no worries, if you need it that bad, go for it.
Right.
But what I experienced that day was someone with their feminine energy just said, look at my eyes. And it calmed me down. And I was like, whoa, that was dope. And so we really need that balance.
The masculine. And the femininity.
But we too, as men, have masculine and feminine parts of ourselves. And just like a woman has their feminine and masculine parts, right? So it is the man that needs to be loving, that gets to be, compassionate, understanding,
exactly.
Give assurances. Men really need to give assurances to their women.
I love seeing a man who is about love. Like, I feel like we're in it. There's so many men that are just cold, and they're just existing in this masculinity, which we love the protective part of it.
Love is masculine, though.
And there's just something different when you meet a man who is love. Jesus the man, like let's take Jesus out as being God's son. Right.
He was
epitome of love.
He was
Epitome
a
of fucking love.
revolutionary of love.
Yes.
But don't think that he was soft.
Right.
He wasn't.
This
was the man that went into the church and threw all the tables up for turning the church into a sales place.
Right.
Right. So if I were to see Jesus today, I don't imagine that this would be a soft man.
No, definitely not.
But the epitome of love.
Correct.
Because his standards were high.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as a woman, for me to see like a very masculine man who is loving, that's just like mind blowing. Like you're so masculine, you're so strong, and then there's love. Like that's just so powerful for a man to just be love. And I'm not saying softness. Like, softness to me is a female. I'm talking about like he's in the feminine of like I am love. But he operates from the masculinity. There has to be a balance, as well for men. So I find men who are balanced with the femininity of love and, you know, very strong in their masculinity, there's just a fucking turn on.
And you know what? The turn on for men is when a woman is sweet, when she's nice, when she like really shows love, and not treating you like an interrogator. Where are you at? What are you doing? Who are you with? All this stuff. And learn to trust that man. A man will come home to the woman that he loves, right? And he'll sleep out in the rain. He'll do whatever it takes. When a man loves a woman, like this man will do whatever it takes.
A woman can't keep his mind on nothing else.
Nothing else. When a man loves a woman, he can't keep his mind on nothing else. And
I don't know the rest of it. Sorry. I'll start lyricizing it. Freestyling.
And so when a woman is too much like a man, that turns a man off.
Yeah.
When a woman is too masculine, no dude wants to be with a man doesn't want to be with most men don't want to be with another man.
Right.
And then even in those relationships, one of them's more feminine than the other.
True. I mean,
right?
I've only, when I was dating women, I only dated tomboys, but they were very feminine energies. And I was just like, I'm still the man, damn it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'm going to have you light your candle.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Okay. So we can actually, slow this all down.
I just want to get present to this moment.
Okay. So I'm going to have everyone close their eyes. And I'm going to have you take a deep breath in through the nose. And while you're taking a deep breath in through the nose, I want you to breathe in this white, beautiful, warm light. And it's peaceful, it's serene, it's tranquil. There's something in this energy that just feels loving and comfortable. You feel safe. So as we take a deep breath in, we are restructuring our nervous system, our belief system. When we breathe in, I want you to release anything that happened today, yesterday, during this week, or during the month that is heavy on your spirit, heavy in your mind, heavy in your heart. We're here to recalibrate, to shift, to drop back into our heart, into our spirit, to reconnect with that love in our heart, the vision that we have, our dreams, our most wildest dreams come from our heart, from love. As an entrepreneur, we follow these dreams because they were placed in our heart, in our soul, the minute we were born from past lifetimes. When you quiet long enough, you're able to hear messages, to get direction. Where do you go next? What is your next move? What is your next level? And that comes in the silence. So we're going to take a count of 4, a deep breath in through your nose. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. As you're holding it at the top, I want you to allow it to anchor in peace, anchor in love, anchor in tranquility, anchor in safety, protection. Hold it. Take a deep breath out. We're breathing out anything heavy, anything dark, any stress, any anxiety, any fear, any racing thoughts. We're releasing. I want you to take another deep breath in. I want you to breathe in your dreams, your most wildest dreams. I want you to breathe in your manifestations, your visions, your goals. Breathe them in, this beautiful light. Hold it at the top. Hold it. Anchor it in, anchor it in, anchor it in as your reality, as your truth. These manifestations are here. Your dreams are here. Your wildest dreams are here. They are now inside the cells of your body. Now breathe out. We're going to breathe out the past. We're going to breathe out lack. We're going to breathe out fear, insecurity, trauma. Breathe it out. Release it out of your cells. We only have room for high vibrational visions, thoughts, and feelings. We're going to take another deep breath and we're going to anchor in our manifestations, our dreams, our prayers, our next level. We're going to take a deep breath in, breathe in. Peace, love, serenity, tranquility. Hold up at the top. Hold it. Hold it. Now I want you to see and feel your manifestations, your miracles, your blessings, your prayers are given to you right now. Hold it. Hold it. Anchor it in. Anchor it in. It's anchored it in, and so it is. Breathe out. Breathe out the past. Breathe out lack. Breathe out scarcity. Breathe out anything heavy, any fear, anything from the past. We have no room for it. We release it. I want you to drop into your heart, be present. We call in our future selves from 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. We call you into this space right now. We call you into the rest of our evening and our dreams tonight. Dear future self from 10, 20, and 30 years from now, we call you in for the rest of this week and the rest of this month. We call you in to our intuitive nudge to give us directions. What is our next level? What step is next for us? What doors need to be closed and what doors need to be opened? We surrender right now to from our own will, that you will intuitively guide us, give us signs left and right. From this moment on, we are committed to looking at all the signs that are around us, not as coincidences, but as divine, orchestrated, intuitive directions from you, our future selves. We are committed to quantum leaping from today into the person we are 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. We make that commitment to cut cords with that which is no longer serving us. We step into our highest selves right now. We are activated into it. Activated, 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 activated. We are quantum leaping. The cosmic threads are now being connected to our dreams, our manifestations, to our prayers, to our blessings. We are connecting to it with these ethereal threads in the cosmos, and we call it in like a magnet. We are pulling in these hundreds and thousands cosmic threads. That which would have came 5 years from now, we call it in right now. Our ancestors are here to protect us. The divine source, God, the Holy Spirit. We are here to be a pen in your hand, writing the world a love letter. How may we serve? How may we touch, move, and inspire lives? We know from this moment on, every vision we get, every hunch we get, any funny feeling we get is a direct message from Source, from God, from the Holy Spirit, that this tool, this path, that we are actually paving paths that no one else has walked. We each in this room have a vision for a road and a journey that no one else is going to walk first other than us. We are trailblazers in our family lineage. We are breaking generational curses in our lineage. And we stand in our integrity. Our word is our word. We are here to serve. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Hand over heart. Go ahead and open your eyes when you feel called to. What came up for you?
First off, that was beautiful. When you get to stop and smell the roses, for myself, as I was going through that prayer, I had a vision of this little boy who would stare out this window and see this statue of this warrior. And eventually, the little boy, when he stood next to the statue, he was identical to it. So I was pulling that future self, that high standard self of myself, the best version of myself. Yeah. I was pulling them into my existence right now. So when I die and I meet that best version of myself, I get to look identical to him. Yes. And so I want to thank you, Deanne. That was beautiful.
Thank you for trusting
me. You definitely
me.
have a gift. The energy of the words, the high vibration, the frequency was pure. It was beautiful. And I felt it coming from
spirit, from God, from divine, from your future self.
And channeled through you.
That's who came through. I'm literally just an instrument for them.
That's what's up. Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
You want to read some of the comments too?
Yes, please. And you feel free now to light your candle.
Yeah.
All right, while he's lighting his candle, we have... Ready? Tweety Bird Jr. Wow, that was so beautiful, breathtaking. Yes, amen. Yes, thank you, Tweety Bird.
I'm going to go ahead and write one for myself.
Hope you guys can hear me. Sorry, I'm trying to do 3 things at once. Let's see. Jason Parker. It's time to break that generational curse and become something more in life and eventually becoming a millionaire someday.
Ooh, yes.
Pull it in now. Pull it in now, not
yes,
someday.
Don't say someday.
Yeah,
say,
right now.
It just happened.
It just happened.
I just became a millionaire.
Yeah.
Then,
anchor it in.
And then Genvia, her prayers. I'm manifesting $300,000 this year and paying off all my debt. I love money and money loves me. Money is love. Boom. Just wrote it, sent it to the universe, and burned it into the fire. Sent up.
Awesome. And actually, Jen, I got a vision of $300,000 a month for you.
That's right.
That's the vision I literally was just told right now, Jen. $300K a month for you. Not for the year, a month.
And you know,
I just saw that clearly.
And for some people, they can't fathom $300,000 a month. And I would love to show you how to reverse engineer that, because every number can be reverse engineered, and there is a method to getting to that number.
What does that mean? Reverse engineered?
So it's like having blueprints. So when I always tell people, when I sit down with entrepreneurs and I say they want to start a business, it's like, okay, let's start at the end first. What does this look like at the end? and then reverse engineer it to where you are today. So you know the action steps to get back to that place, right?
Okay.
Because, people have eyes, but you need to have a vision. And if you don't have a vision for what that looks like, to go there first in the future with your imagination,
Right.
and then reverse engineer it to where you are today, now you've already been there.
I love how your words are so different than mine. I was like, oh, anchor it in. Just anchor it into your heart. It's so different. But I love the word you use, because I'll be like, remember, I was like, what are your core beliefs? Or you were like, and you said some fancy word. You're like, you mean this top 3, da da da. And I was like, okay, sure. But when you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I meant. Like the perfect example of femininity and then masculinity. So masculine are very linear, very like by the book, da da da. And feminines are like, oh, the unicorn came and blessed me today. And you're like, you mean the mailman? I'm like, yeah, he was here. It's like the perfect example of femininity and masculinity. I love that. You know all these big words.
But that's the great balance.
Yeah,
That's the great balance.
definitely.
So can you share a little bit of what you're doing right now?
Okay, so this is Palo Santo. Now, Palo Santo, I'd like to cleanse the energy in the room. So Palo Santo, sage is to clear like the stagnant energy from a room. Now, Palo Santo is stronger. It's to ward off evil entities, demons, witchcraft, any kind of bad energy. And because we are on live, I like to do like a little limpia.
Yeah.
So I'm blocking any. So the fact that we just declared right now that we're here to serve and change lives, I like to say evil, like Satan or the demons. Just it could be evil or negativity, whatever you want to call it. They're immediately. My belief is what I study is the minute we were born, us as the anointed ones from the Christ consciousness, from God, from the one, we were assigned demons to attack us our whole life to keep us from being here right now, from serving.
Most definitely.
So what happens is I'm also trained to do protection.
Yeah.
So like the light of God, I'm able to put over you, over this room, anybody watching, anybody trying to send any negativity through here, or, any demons that are just attached to, you, and like you're like trying to come in to be like, no, how can I bring him down? Like what's coming in? Like I'm simply blocking it. So Palo Santo, you should use it every morning and every night before you go to bed.
Where does somebody get a Palo Santo
You
at?
can get this on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go on Amazon and get this. And I'm also trained as a sacred priest, a rose priestess, a white rose priestess, where I'm also able to get copal, which is what the Aztec used. So I have a ceramic. It's in the backyard on the table. Okay, go get it. So I have a ceramic, and it's made from people, Aztecs, in Tulum.
Okay,
It's
got it. Yeah.
specifically made from the Aztecs out there, and you put copal in it. Now, copal is used during exorcisms. Copal is burned in Catholic churches. Y'all, Catholic church people don't really tell you about exorcisms and demons, but when the bishop or whatever they call them, their pastors, he has the little ball and there's smoke and he's twirling it. That is copal. Copal is used during any kind of exorcisms of demons, and he uses it when he's in church with all these unknown people in him to protect himself and the church. So I do limpias like for people, for their homes. So
And for some people,
Aztec. Yeah.
for some people, this may be very taboo.
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah. It can be, but I don't know whether, even if you're a born again Christian,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like
people
for
that aren't religious or
well, even for people that are religious, again, we inherited a life from our parents.
correct.
Right. And they inherited it from their parents. I'll give you an example. So there was this lady, she was making a Thanksgiving ham. And when she got the ham out, she cut off both sides. And the sister saw her doing it, started laughing. She goes, "Oh my God, I do that too." She goes, "Why do we do this?" "Because mom did it."
Taught us.
So they go and tell mom, "Mom, why do we cut off the ends of the ham?"
Right.
She goes, "Oh, it's because your grandmother did it that way."
Right.
So they go to the grandmother's room. The grandmother's in there watching TV. The mom and the two daughters go into the grandma's room and says, "Grandma, why do we cut the ends of the ham? Why did you do that?" She goes, "Oh, it's because the ham never fit in my pot, so I had to cut off the ends so it would fit."
Right.
But then all of a sudden, generation after generation, they didn't even know why they were cutting
Right.
the ends of the ham. But this is the thing about us living as human beings. We inherited a life. We inherited a way that these
belief
traditions,
system.
these belief
Right,
systems,
yeah.
right? And so what you're talking about has been taboo, but it's the truth.
Right.
We are spiritual beings.
Right.
And there's a
Definitely.
spiritual realm, and there are demons, and there are angels. And when you understand that, there's a great book called Screw Tape Letters.
Ooh, really?
And it's a book about how the devil has his demons and this hierarchy of them and how they come attack us. And so that is something as human beings, I saw a beautiful video of this helicopter. It was a paramedic helicopter. And it says, the caption was that as soon as it was taken off, the person passed away. But you clearly see from the helicopter, this lights go up. And that was the moment that spirit left the body.
Right.
And when you've seen a dead body fresh, you can look at that dead body and know there's something missing from that body.
Right.
It's not like they're asleep. There's something missing.
Of course.
And so there's this story about these two babies in the womb. And one of them says, "Hey, do you think there's something more to life?" And the other baby's like, "Nah, this is it. We get fed here. We get everything happens here. Why would you think there's something more?"
Right.
And then 9 months later, they're born.
Right.
And so same thing, as we're alive, we're conscious, right? We question, is there something more after this? I tend to think that there may be.
Right.
And so there is this spiritual world. And yes, there are demons. There are just like a negative and positive.
Right. It's just the word I use.
Yeah.
Demons, and it could just be evil, low vibrational frequency. So quantum physics is when you're vibrating at a very low level, you're attracting everything else in the world that's on that level. So
Exactly.
it's pain, anger,
Yes.
rage, art that has a frequency. So people can call it the devil, or you can call it a low vibrational frequency.
Yes.
I see demons. I see entities in people. So my word is demons.
Yes.
'Cause I've been able to see them from a very young age. And now that I'm trained, I understand what I've always seen my whole life.
Yes.
I used to always just think, oh, like, how do I know things other people don't know? I didn't know that I was a prophet. I didn't know that I was given visions to see things for people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll pop people, I'm like, how do you not know this? And they just be like, what? Because they weren't given a vision. Like me as like the prophet, like I was always able to see things, and now I understand, oh, it was a gift.
Yes.
And I can't get mad at people when they don't follow what I'm saying, or things happen later on. And like, I hate this thing of like, I hate it, but I'm always right. And it's, I used to even like when I would call something out and it would happen and it'd be bad, I'm like, oh, I'm not even gonna say nothing because the bad thing just happened, but I already warned somebody of it. And I'm like, and because I'm humble and I don't like being like boasting, I'm just like, I saw that, I called it, I told you, you didn't listen. So now I'm learning, I have visions.
Yes.
I'm already seeing what's going to happen. So when I tell something to somebody now, I'll tell somebody and I just leave it. Because it's that person's journey
Yes.
to go through it.
Oh my God.
Or not to go through it. And so I'm just very content with like, okay, well, I see what's going to happen. This person's clearly wants to still do their own thing. That's fine. I just stay quiet. And then when what I say comes about, I'm just like, like I'm very clear now. I just have a gift.
You know what's, man, you hit the nail on the head, like they say. I had to learn to not interfere in other people's processes. Because the moment you interfere in someone else's process, you become part of the process. And so sometimes you got to allow people to go through their process. It's not your process. So when they say mind your own business, you need to mind your own business.
No, yeah, that's exactly where I operate from. And then people are like, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I already foresaw. So like, I'll literally be like, well, I ask them questions. I'll be like, so what are you feeling? You know what I mean? And they'll be like, well, this. And I'm like, well, where do you think that comes from? Because I know there's an intuitiveness in everybody, but everyone's just so closed off. So I'll just ask questions like, well, what do you think that meant? Well, maybe this. Oh, what do you think that means? And they're like, this. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, and what happens if you do that? Then this. And how's that going to feel? Like this. Okay. And what if you don't do it? This will happen. Oh, and then this. Oh, and then that. I'm like, okay, so what was your answer? Like they just answered their own question.
Yes.
I ask questions to where people answer their own questions.
And
I don't ever answer people's questions. I just ask questions till they figure out what feels like a fuck yes in my soul and what feels like a fuck no.
Yes.
Because I'm no longer here to tell people anything. I merely ask.
Yes.
And then they're like, holy fuck. I'm like, did that feel like true from your heart? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
I'm like, you came up with that. I didn't say nothing.
Yep.
I just asked you what was real, what works for you, and then what doesn't.
Yes.
So that's how now I use my gifts with people when I'm coaching.
Beautiful.
Andy says, yes, Damiano. I learned that too. Oh, sorry. I learned that too. Allow people to go through their own process on their own.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's what makes a great coach. A great coach is going to guide people so that people come up with their own answer. Because
Their own decisions.
Exactly. And so coaching is not telling people what to do. That's actually mentorship. So there's a distinction between mentorship and coaching.
Right.
Coaching, you allow people to come up with their own answer. And I must say, Deanne, you're an amazing coach.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're using your gift.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. What time is it, Mijo? How long are we in?
You've been on an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, shit. That went by fast. Okay, then.
It was good. It was too good to stop.
Yeah, it really was. Thank you. Okay. We're going to go ahead and close this out. We have our manifestations today. We have Coach Damiano. You want to share with them a little bit of what you do and where they can reach you at for coaching? Mind you, he has been my business coach in the past when I had the 7-Eleven Media Group.
Yeah, you know, so right now I coach specifically a real estate team, and so my name, you can find me on Instagram as Don Damiano, and my number is 310-849-1533. I have a real passion of helping teenagers, you know, to really identify themselves so that way they can grow in business. I'll be speaking at the Compton Library Youth Center. There's an event coming up for teens, so I'll be speaking at that coming up. That's on my Instagram. And then, of course, I work with a lot of executives from businesses to help scale their business. So yeah, and then I do a lot of one-on-one life coaching for people as well. So I'd love to sit down with anybody that really wants to create clarity, wants to create a business plan, and or just really, you know, wants to kind of clean up some stuff from our past so that way we can move forward with velocity. And so
Velocity, I like that.
Yeah.
Velocity. He has all these big words. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
that's what's
Before
up.
we end tonight,
Okay, don't you have a Zoom thing? Something coming up? Is
Yeah, I
that
have
normal?
a Zoom this Thursday. So this
Okay.
Thursday, 7:00, the Zoom. It's an easy website, zoomwithdamiano.com. And so this Thursday, we're having a mastermind on marketing. So we do that every Thursday. We just get together. It's free. Jump on board. We have a mastermind. And really support it. That in itself is just to support
I'm
people
going to
to
be
grow.
there, you guys. talking about marketing, I'm there. I'm part of it. I'm here to, pick everyone's mind and to learn.
Deanna will be part of it too.
Okay. Also, April 1st, we start day one. We have our welcome call for my signature program, Rebirth. What's no longer serving you? What's not working anymore? And what's holding you back? So we're going to be changing the stories of who we are and who we want to become. So we're going to be doing a complete rebirth, rebranding, then reinventing ourselves, who we want to be, and reintroducing ourselves. Like the Jay-Z song. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Ho Ho. Dun, 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 dun,
That's what's up.
It starts April 1st. Right now, we have it on pre-sale for $777. It's for 6 weeks. We do have a 6-month payment plan with that. So if this is something that is calling on your heart and soul, don't do anything that you're not feeling like, fuck yes, in my soul, I'm on fire for this.
Yes.
I do not want you in my program. If this in your heart, in your soul, in your gut, you got a big knot that shoot, I want to be part of this, please contact me, unleashyoursexy.com. It's with the I, not a Y, because Unleash Your Sexy with the Y is taken from some other girl. So it's Unleash Your Sexy with the I at the end.com. Rebirth starts. Price does go up to angel number 1,111 on April 1st. So we can either pay in full, we can do payments. And if you are a single mom who's been through any kind of domestic violence and you're trying to get up off your feet, you're free of my program. Make sure you can DM me. I am on Unleash Your Sexy. Oh, I know it's showing right now on the screen and his Instagram. Make sure you follow him as well, you guys. We love you. Until next